A whisper from the dust, a forgotten empire rising from the sands. For ages, history books spoke of ancient Egypt and mighty Mesopotamia as the dawn of civilization. But deep beneath the earth, near a powerful winding river, an even older story lay hidden. It was a tale of clever builders, wise planners, and a thriving people who vanished as if swallowed by time. Then, a remarkable discovery began to change everything we thought we knew about our past. This lost world, nurtured by the silver serpents of the Indus, built an empire of wonder, only to disappear without a trace. How could such an advanced and influential civilization simply fade from memory, waiting centuries to be found again? Join us as we uncover the secrets of the Indus Civilization, a discovery that truly changed history. The Indus Civilization's journey began with a magnificent river. The Indus, a long silver snake, starts high in the snowy Himalayas and winds its way through vast landscapes. Even though this powerful river often brought floods, people chose to make its banks their home. They learned to control the wild waters, turning dry desert into green gardens. This showed their amazing ability to live with and shape their environment, transforming a tough landscape into a place where a great society could grow. Then, in 1920, something incredible happened. Professor M.S. Vatz looked over ancient ruins at a place called Harappa, a key site of this unknown civilization. At that time, many miles away, another professor, Adi Banerjee, was digging up a giant city named Mohenjo-daro. These were huge moments in history. Soon after, more than 1,000 places where these people lived were found. These sites covered a huge area, larger than many countries, stretching across what is now Pakistan and India, all along the 3,000-kilometer-long Indus River. The sheer size of this newly found civilization was truly astonishing. When news of these discoveries reached Europe, archaeologists were very surprised and even found it hard to believe. They had always thought that the first big civilizations in Asia were not as important as those in Europe. This shows how history was sometimes seen, focusing more on certain parts of the world. For a long time, people did not fully understand this new civilization. The first archaeologists found many toys, like dice, whistles, and marbles. This made them think they had found cities of children, and that the people were just carefree and happy, without worries of death or war. They even called them the Arcadians of the Indus, like people from a peaceful, simple land. This early idea, based on limited findings, showed how easily first clues can lead to wrong ideas about an old culture. The real story of the Indus people was much more complex and amazing than anyone first thought. Mohenjo-daro, sitting by the Indus River in modern-day Pakistan, was truly a large city. It covered about 1 square kilometer and was home to about 40,000 people. The city's streets show how smart its builders were. The city was planned like a perfect checkerboard, with long main streets at least 9 meters wide, crossing each other in neat squares. This created clear blocks for houses, a model of ancient town planning. Archaeologists were amazed to find that the whole city had a very complex way of managing water. It had 80 public toilets, which was incredible for a city 4,000 years old. In the living areas, every house had its own tiled bathroom and its own well water. The whole city had sewers, with special drains and gutters dug into the main streets to carry away dirty water. In smaller streets, dirty water was poured into jars without bottoms, and some street corners even had brick containers for trash. This widespread and organized system for public health and waste management showed a strong central leadership or a very organized community that could plan and build such large public works. This level of city planning and public health care was truly special for its time. The most amazing discovery was made at the highest part of the city, on a huge brick platform. Here, the people of Mohenjo-daro built a great bath. This large pool was used for daily washing and was also a safe place during the big floods of the Indus River. Other important finds in Mohenjo-daro include a famous statue of a dancing girl and another of a priest king. Seals showing a godlike figure, called Pashupati, were also found. These things give us clues about their art, daily life, and perhaps their spiritual beliefs. Another incredible city was Dholavira, found on an island that is now a narrow strip in a sea of salt. Dholavira was an important meeting point for trade routes. The builders of the Indus usually used bricks, but in Dholavira, archaeologists also found huge stone walls, 15 meters high. These walls show how skilled their builders were, using tools like plumb lines and water levels. They even used strong Himalayan cedar wood in their buildings. Like Mohenjo-daro, Dolavira also had a complex water system. Water was used to clean the streets and flowed into underground pipes that also carried it outside the city walls. A surprising discovery was made as archaeologists dug deeper: strange, deep pits. These turned out to be giant rock-cut reservoirs, a first for the Indus people. Dolavira had 16 such reservoirs all around it, holding a massive 250,000 cubic meters of precious water. The entire city plan was made to collect and store water, making Dolavira seem to float on mirrors of silver. This huge water management system was not just a practical skill, it was a main idea for their city, deeply built into its very design. This city covered 48 hectares and had about 20,000 people. It had a strong fort in the center and walls that divided the city into upper and lower parts. There were also many gardens, warehouses, and places to store grain. Dolavira grew rich from trading wheat and barley, and its people soon looked to the nearby sea for more trade. Dolavira is also the only Indus site known to be divided into 3 parts and had a stadium, showing a place for public gatherings or games. For the people of Dolavira, water was the most important thing for their survival. It helped their crops grow, and they believed it could make their souls pure. There was a sacred well, 4 meters wide and 20 meters deep, where women drew the purest water from deep within the earth. This direct link between their advanced building skills and their spiritual beliefs suggests a deep respect for water, where practical need and sacred practice were linked. A big mystery has always been why so many old Indus cities are found in the middle of dry deserts today. The answer lies with a river once thought to be a legend, the Ghaggar Hakra. About 4,500 years ago, a powerful river flowed through this land. Today, satellite pictures and digging in the ground clearly show that it was a real riverbed. The Indus people built dikes and dams to control its flow, just like they did with other water sources. But about 4,000 years ago, a strong earthquake changed the river's path, shifting it further east. This caused the Ghaggar Hakra to dry up, leaving behind a desert. This natural disaster had a huge effect, harming the civilization's farming and water supply. However, the water is still there, just a few meters below the surface. From 1990, new wells were dug, and the precious water began to flow again. After more than 4,000 years, the Ghaggar Hakra resurfaced from deep within the earth. With its return, the whole region came back to life. Fields reappeared, and villages that had been empty were filled with people again. Once again, water showed its lasting power to bring life. Many archaeologists now even suggest calling it the Indus Sarasvati Civilization, because so many sites were found along this river. This shows the deep connection between the civilization's success and the presence of this vital river system. Around 2,000 years before Christ, the cities between the Indus and Ghaggar Hakra rivers were surrounded by fields of wheat and barley. People also grew peas, sesame seeds, and even cotton, which is one of the earliest known times cotton was grown. They kept many animals, including buffaloes, zebu cattle, sheep, and goats. They also had dogs, cats, and possibly pigs and camels. Some even tamed Asian elephants for their valuable ivory tusks. This rich farming helped feed the cities and made them prosperous. This diverse and bountiful agriculture shows a society that had moved beyond mere subsistence, producing a surplus that supported urban centers. As the civilizations grew, villages appeared in far-off places. In the walled cities, skilled artisans worked in special quarters. Ideas and inventions spread through trade. These city dwellers were very good at making things. They made beautiful ornaments from a red stone named carnelian and other precious stones like lapis lazuli, agate, and jasper. They made tools and weapons from copper and bronze, as well as mirrors and razors. They were also excellent at working with wood. Their pottery was so good that it reached faraway lands. Artists carved ivory and set sparkling semi-precious stones in gold to make stunning jewelry. The amount of goods they made was so large that it seemed like they were almost ready for an industrial age. This high level of production and specialized craftsmanship points to a sophisticated economy with a clear division of labor. The people of the Indus Valley wore simple clothes, mostly made of cotton fabric, but they also used wool. Men wore shawls and a type of cloth like a modern dhoti, while women wore traditional dhoti kurta or saris. Their society was generally peaceful, and women were treated well. People enjoyed activities like hunting wild animals, bullfighting, and fishing. Society was divided into different groups, such as the learned class, warriors, traders and artisans, and manual laborers. The presence of diverse occupations and leisure activities, combined with a general lack of deadly weapons like swords, suggests a society focused more on internal prosperity and community life rather than warfare. The Indus people were very active traders. They marked their products with special clay stamps or copper plates. Their favorite way to mark goods was with seals made of a soft stone called steatite, which hardened when heated. These seals were often carved with pictures of animals like zebu, buffalo, and crocodiles, along with mysterious signs. More than 2,000 of these seals have been found. Merchants wore them around their necks. As trade grew over long distances, the Indus merchants even came up with the idea of a contract or agreement. To make a contract official, they used finely carved stone cylinders, much like those used in Mesopotamia. This suggests that they were not just trading goods, but also sharing ideas about business practices and legal agreements across vast distances. The use of standardized weights and measures throughout the Indus Valley further supported this well-regulated system of commerce. The Indus people needed raw materials like copper, tin, silver, and a blue stone called lapis lazuli. So their caravans traveled west towards places like Balochistan and Iran, and they even set up trading posts over 1,500 kilometers away in Afghanistan. At first, they were mostly riverboat men, using flat-bottomed boats to carry people and goods hundreds of kilometers up and down the rivers. These boat designs are still used in Pakistan today, hardly changed in 4,000 years. Then they bravely started sailing the seas. They carefully followed the shores of the Sea of Oman, finding that sea travel was faster and could carry much more cargo than land routes. Their boat sailed all the way to faraway Mesopotamia, about 3,500 kilometers from the Indus Valley, going through the Strait of Hormuz into the Persian Gulf. We know this because archaeologists have found Indus carnelian ornaments and pottery in ancient royal tombs on an island called an-Nar, dating back over 4,000 years. They are still searching for more proof of this cultural connection on Bahrain Island, hoping to find a cultural marriage between the Indus and Mesopotamia. These extensive trade networks demonstrate that the ancient world was far more interconnected and dynamic than often imagined, with the Indus people playing a significant role in this early form of globalization. The biggest mystery of the Indus civilization is its writing system, or script. It has never been fully understood. Over 400 different signs have been found on seals and other objects. These signs are like tiny pictures or symbols. In 1999, there was great excitement at the Dholavira site. At the city's northern entrance, archaeologists found a large inscription. This Dholavira signboard had 10 big symbols made of quartz, each over 30 centimeters high. They were probably set into a wooden tablet that had long since rotted away. Everyone held their breath, hoping this could be the Rosetta Stone that would finally unlock the meaning of the Indus script, just like the Rosetta Stone helped understand Egyptian hieroglyphs. But after hours of work, archaeologists realized they had only found a few signs. The Indus script still waits for its Rosetta Stone. Without understanding these signs, we cannot know many things about this civilization. We do not know if they had poets or writers, what their legends were, or how they saw the world. This inability to read their writing is the biggest barrier to understanding their inner thoughts and beliefs. We also don't know exactly how their society was ruled. Some experts thought it was ruled by one powerful priest king, but others now think it was more like an economic and cultural empire with many different rulers. Some even suggest the Dholavira signboard might have been one of the world's first traffic signs put up at the city's entrance. The ongoing debate about their governance highlights how much of their story remains untold without the key to their language. History tells us that even the greatest civilizations eventually come to an end. The Indus civilization was no different. From about 1800 BC, it was no longer mentioned in records from Mesopotamia, its old trading partner. Little by little, the streets of its great cities became empty. The sound of tools in the craftsmen's quarters stopped. Buildings and water systems were left to fall apart. The once magnificent cities were slowly destroyed by time and nature. How can we explain this sudden end? Many ideas exist. Some experts think that invaders from Central Asia attacked and destroyed the empire. Others suggest that huge floods or powerful earthquakes devastated the cities, making them unlivable. A very important idea is that the disappearance of the Ghaggar-Hakra River caused big, lasting changes to their way of life, forcing them to leave. Another theory points to environmental problems, like cutting down too many trees or using up too many resources, which made farming difficult. The idea of a single cause for such a widespread decline is often challenged. For example, the theory of an Aryan invasion has faced criticism because the timeline of the Harappan decline does not match the arrival of the Aryans. Instead, it is more likely that a complex mix of problems led to their end. A change in environmental conditions, such as the drying up of a vital river, could have started a chain reaction of other problems, weakening the civilization over time. Because we have no texts that tell us what happened and we know so little about how the Indus government worked, the exact reasons for their decline remain a great mystery, a powerful reminder of how fragile even complex societies can be. The Indus Empire did not completely disappear. Instead, it slowly broke apart into smaller independent states. New crops appeared, and people began to raise different animals like horses, camels, and donkeys. Even though the single unified culture faded, some parts of its heritage were kept alive. This shows that cultural practices and knowledge can persist even when political structures change or fall apart. Today, we can still see the echoes of the Indus civilization in India. For example, at the Adalaj Temple, there is a large well carved into the rock from the 16th century. Thousands of worshippers still come here to look at the smooth water, believing it to be the purest water of all. This continued deep respect for water directly connects to the Indus people's profound relationship with this vital element. On the banks of the Ganges River, you can hear the calls of people who are still part of a very old tradition. When you watch the rituals of Indian faithful washing in the Ganges, worshipping a kind god in the river, it is like seeing the faces of the people of the Indus. These ancient ways, these gestures, and these chants seem to have traveled through thousands of years, reaching us today almost unchanged. They show the lasting influence of the Indus people, who were truly the masters of the river. Water, once again, emerged as the mother of civilization, and its importance continues even now. This demonstrates that a civilization's legacy is not always found in grand monuments, but often in the quiet, enduring traditions that shape future cultures. If you found the story of the Indus civilization as amazing as we do, please give this video a big thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to our channel for more incredible journeys into history. Tell us in the comments below what part of the Indus civilization surprised you the most. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you don't miss our next adventure.